So because I am in Marie-Hélène's class, I had to be very professional and prepare like a presentation for you. So I did a little something. So hi, I'm very happy to be in Marie-Hélène's class. I am a great admirer of her work. So I'm very impressed actually. So I wanted to talk to you about my own experience with artificial intelligence. And I wanted you to know that I am not an AI expert. So I see that you had a lot of experts talking to you about AI, and I'm not that. I'm someone who uses AI in his work. So that's my name, Frédéric Davignon-Proriol. And I'm going to try to explain to you how screens come and go here. Sorry. How I'm using AI in my line of work and why it's relevant, and maybe to try to give you a critical eye on it. So I'm going to tell you who I am, why I use AI in my work, as far as monitoring stuff and creation are concerned, how I used it today for you, and maybe give you a critical eye on my use of AI. That doesn't mean I'm going to say something negative. I'm going to say to me, what the benefits and maybe the limits are, to maybe give you tools to use it yourself. I'm not sure you quite need my help, but you never know. So I'm a teacher, and now I'm working at a place called Réseau Canopé. I'm based in Montpellier, and I've taught for about 25 years. And 3 years ago, I was lent by the Éducation nationale to Réseau Canopé. And I've worked as a teacher trainer and as an English teacher as well. And my main focus was on the integration of digital, of computers, tablets and stuff like that, iPads in class. And now in Réseau Canopé, these are all the things I work on. How to differentiate in class on neurosciences and the way students memorize. I also work with little kids on how to use robots to learn. And that's something I really like. I'm a CORAC, which is in French, correspondant académique for eTwinning. And I think you're working with eTwinning. So that's why I accepted, because I know Marie-Hélène is a very active part of eTwinning. And I've worked on stuff like flipped classroom and differentiation, escape games, etc. So that just tell you who I am. And my work here at Réseau Canopé is to be a resource for teachers and to train them on various topics. So to do that, I hope it's going to work. To do that, I have to use AI, notably because that's one of the topics related to digital science, to computers and stuff like that. And that's my main specialty here. So I'm monitoring all the stuff that are happening on AI. I'm going to tell you how. And I'm also using AI in my job to create. And I'm going to try to show you how I do that and with what sort of frame of mind. Please do not hesitate to stop me if you have any questions or if I speak too fast, if I'm not clear. I'm a teacher, so I like to talk. So please do interrupt me if you do have questions, and don't be shy. Questions are very interesting. And so to explain to you what monitoring is, in French, we call that veille pédagogique. When Marie-Hélène asked me to come and work tonight for you, I was very impressed, and I said, how am I going to do that? How am I going to start? I don't know where to start, what to do. And usually in my work, when I don't know how to start and what to do, and when I don't have ideas, I use chatbots. So it's a little bit like cheating, but not cheating really. And so I decided to try to use Copilot and ask Copilot what I could do to explain students your age what veille pédagogique is. I know what it is, but I didn't know how to start, and I didn't have any idea how to tell you. So I asked Copilot this question, and we had a bit of a chat with Copilot, and Copilot gave me this answer, which I tried to copy here. So it gave me a very precise definition. So these are all the stuff I have to collect for teachers. And notably, I'm working on number 3 here and number 4. That is to say, how we can use AI as teachers in different subjects, English, history, etc., and how it works and how it changes the way you teach. But I'm also interested in that, in the limits of using AI in class and why we have to put safeguards, limits to protect your data, for example. And I'm going to try to show you the conversation we had, but it's resisting me, so I don't know. Oh, so there we go. If I do that, can you see my Copilot window, Marie-Hélène?
Yes.
Does that work? Yes, okay, good. All right. Okay, so I did ask him, him, her, I don't know. And I used French, sometimes I used English. So it gave me this very precise answer. And my idea was that that's going to make you very, I don't know, doubtful about what it was. So I asked Copilot to create an image of a cat that didn't really understand. And so I had to adjust to use it. So that's how I'm using it, basically, as a form of creation to give me ideas to start my presentations. But you see that when I have that, that means I have to know what it means. Because if I just have this answer without knowing any more information, I have to ask more questions. So it's not going to do the work in my place. It's going to help me. So that's how I'm using AI in my line of work, to help me have ideas and maybe give me precisions on topics. And also what I really like in this new version is that you have the source. You see it appearing here, the quatre axes de la veille pédagogique. It's also very important for me to have the source to be able to read it and to understand it. So I asked for a cat because I like cats. And I thought, at least if I'm talking about a very complex subject, I have a cat. Cats always help me to make people better understand. And we had a lot of exchanges. I wasn't very satisfied, so I asked about a picture about a cat who doesn't understand, and then I asked about a cat using AI, and I wasn't very happy. And then I started to asking very complex question. Can you create an image to explain what monitoring is? And I had very crazy stuff. And I tried to ask it to add icons. I tried to give it a definition to see if the answers were better. And then I tried to be more specific, adding books, looking at computer. So I started to have this cat. So that was my first question to it, and give me this cat, which is okay. But I thought, okay, not exactly what I wanted. And then I had this one, which I thought was cuter. So I took this one, actually, I like it. So I used AI to improve my presentation as far as ideas were concerned, and maybe to add little fun pictures to what I wanted to say to you today. So I had this picture of this lovely cat using its computer, and you see, what's interesting to me is that it's far from perfect, because if you look at it, it has two legs here. It's a weird cat. Okay, it's a cat with glasses, so it's weird, but it's also not perfect. So in a way, it's reassuring, I think. So monitoring, to me, so I told you about creating, and I'm talking to you again about monitoring. As a teacher trainer, I have to explain teachers how AI has to be important. So to be able to do that, I have to know myself how it works. So that's why at the beginning I said I'm not an expert. I'm someone who tries to understand, who has a regular use of AI. I also use AI when my fridge is empty and I ask Copilot, I have this, and this in my fridge, what can I cook? And usually I have very creative answers. So I try to use AI to be aware of what's going on, and it's changing very rapidly, to be able to explain, because teachers are interested in AI, but usually they are as scared as they are attracted. They think it's something that is interesting. Some teachers really think I shouldn't be using that in class. And some teachers like yours think it is interesting, and also we have to be careful. So let's try to look at it. Um, Usually, when I talk to AI to teachers, they go, "But what do we do now? Because AI can give all the answers to students. Does that make me irrelevant?" So that's how also I try to um, explain when I have to do something with AI with teachers. I try to explain to them how teachers are still relevant. Thank you. Even if we have AI, you saw that when I used AI, sorry, it wasn't perfect, and uh, I had to have a human look at what was given to me. So how can I use AI in class as a teacher? Is it relevant? I started to answer this question to you when I showed you what I could do. What are the benefits? What are the points of vigilance? What are the limits? That's something that I also try to educate myself for teachers. So, for example, it can be very useful for teachers to use AI for tasks that are not very interesting, like sorry, to create different versions of the same exercise to train various needs in the class. For example, AI does that very well. You provide a text and you ask AI to create an exercise. You just have to look at it and see if it's okay, or if I have to change a few things, but that's a gain of time. So you can use your time as a teacher for other things and maybe help students in another way. As far as vigilance is concerned, you have to be careful as to the use of data and protect students. So that's something I'm working on. So how, why, how, to do what are the things I'm monitoring online. What are the legal and ethical frames when you use AI in class? And I'm very interested in the use of data. AI collect a lot of data, including your personal data. And that's, as teachers, something we have to, I think, protect students from. So the frame of use to me is that limit with personal data. And a question I usually ask is AI, artificial intelligence, is it really intelligent? We call it intelligent, but is it, in French, we use that term as well. Is it really intelligent, or is it just powerful? To me, AI is more powerful than intelligence. The intelligence is the human part of the use of AI. And that's why I'm not too scared, even if it's progressing quite a lot. We have to be careful and put limits. But to me, the real intelligence is the human look on what AI does. So to me, it's a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool to analyze a lot of data, which you can't do as a human. So that's a very positive thing. But it's not really intelligent. You see here, my cat, it's not perfect. So if I want a better version of this cat, which would not include 2 legs at the same place, I would have to ask prompts again and maybe waste a bit of time. So creation, so you see which cat I kept. So as I told you, that's the second part of my job as a teacher trainer. I use chatbot for inspiration. Also, I use it to check and to get information. But I think it has to be handled carefully. Like all the tools you use in class, exactly when you go on the internet, you have to be careful at the information that is provided, because a chatbot is the reflect of what it has been fed with the source it has been given. It only reflects that, and it can be oriented. So that's also something I use. I'm usually telling teachers that they have to be aware that chatbots and that AI can be oriented. It's not neutral. It's fed with the elements you gave it. I use it also as, so I'm quite happy with the chatbot as a source of inspiration and help, etc. I also use generative AI, so as image generator, and I'm less convinced, really. I don't know, I think you have to use a lot of different prompts and be very precise and use quite a lot of prompts to get something that you really want. And in the stuff I created, I think so far, but maybe in the next versions it's going to be better, it has difficulties with words and complex questions. So I told you how I used AI today to be here with you. So to create images, to give me inspiration. And it took me quite a lot of time using it. I think I don't know, maybe I used something like 90 minutes on artificial intelligence to prepare this stuff on the rest of the time I spent to prepare it for you today. So I'm not quite sure it was a very efficient use of my time, at least for the image thing. So that's the question I asked. Sorry, I said second, but you're not in second, I think. But anyhow, I wanted the answer to be quite simple. So that's the question I asked, and that's the plan it gave me. It said to me, I should be doing an introduction. I knew that, but it gave me ideas. So I tried to, I had a human look on the answer, and I said, well, I'm going to keep that because that I think is a good idea, and I don't like this idea. And at the end, at the bottom here, it reminded me to use visuals like slides, etc., to be more engaging, to be more interactive, and to show you a demonstration of AI. So I kind of did that, but I did it my way. And it was also very polite and wished me good luck. So that's how I used Copilot, and well, I made a copy in case it just didn't work. So I think the answer is interesting. So I told it I had 20 minutes. How can I use this time? It gave me ideas, very good advice, and the answer was pertinent. So I liked the way it answered to me. And in a way, it just confirmed things I already knew, and it enhanced my presentation, and it helped me start doing my PowerPoint for you today. And then I said, well, just to be curious, can you give me more details about each of the parts? So, you know, it asked me to do an introduction, etc. So I said, give me more information about that. So it gave me more information, and I didn't really use all of that, but I thought it was quite interesting. If I had 6 hours for teachers, I would probably use chatbots to give me more ideas. But it was interesting. So the points of vigilance, I told you already. So to me, you have to be very careful about the protection of data and private life. You have to make sure the use you do of it is fair and inclusive, and that so in a training for teachers that everybody can use it. It has to be transparent and understood. So if you use a tool, it's always better to understand how it works. And to me, AI is just a tool. So it's quite important when you use AI, in my opinion, as a teacher and as a teacher trainer, to be able to sort of understand at least the main elements of how it works. You have to train teachers, because you can't expect people to use it just like that. Just as teachers have to train and to be aware of the new elements of how you teach students. And maybe you have to think about an age limit to its use, because to use artificial intelligence, you have to be very efficient, in my opinion, in the way you use words. And under a certain age, maybe you don't have the capacity to use words in a precise, efficient way enough to be able to have pertinent answers to the questions, at least when you use a chatbot. You have to think about the impact of how it changes the way teachers work, and to make sure when you use it in class, you're not using it as the only source of work. So students and teachers shouldn't be dependent on this tool. It should be just a tool among others. So to me, that's also very important. And you have to use it in a very ethical and responsible way. I told you about the protection of student data. I know I repeat myself, but to me, that's very important. And then I had more answers. So that's also something I asked to chatbot, and I completely agree with that. And also, it was very interesting because it quoted sites from the French government and from the Ministère de l'Éducation nationale. So it quoted its sources. So for example, that's a very interesting use of AI. I wanted to share this with you and ask you, so that's the part of where I make you work, ask you what you think I asked Copilot to do, and what do you think about it? What do you think I asked it?
What do you think?
If you use French, I won't mind. Maybe your teachers will. A teacher will, but I won't.
So what do you think?
Imagine the prompt. What would be the prompt for that?
What could be the prompt, Ludovic?
A teacher explaining how AI works, maybe.
Exactly, that's quite what I asked. I asked it to create a picture of a teacher explaining AI to students. What do you think of this picture? If you have to use, for example, an adjective, tell me what you think or feel about it.
Okay, offer one word, one adjective about it.
Or more if you want. I mean, I don't have to put you limits. But for example, does Marie-Hélène Fasquelle look like that? You can't say yes. You can't say yes to that. And do your teachers look like that?
Okay.
That's a bit stressful.
Exactly, that's a bit stressful. First, I would be really scared if all of my students were in the classroom looking at me like that. I would think that's a sort of sect or something. You know that there's a very old film in the 60s called The Village des Damnés with diabolical children. They make me think of that.
Exactly.
And also, I think it's full of cliches. Can you see cliches in there?
Yes.
Yes, can you quote one?
Well,
Tell me.
The teacher is an old man wearing very
Exactly.
clothes. We can't see much diversity in the students, and it's quite an
Exactly.
way of teaching.
Exactly. And also he has a tie, obviously, because he's a teacher. And also it implies teachers are above students. He's higher than the students because, you know, he has authority and knowledge. Okay, that's a very scary picture. When he showed me that, and I said, wow, that's your opinion of what teaching is. Scary. So I wanted to illustrate to you what I meant when I said AI is fed with the elements you gave it. So basically it created this picture to me with the elements it had about teaching. And I don't think I ever wore a tie. And I don't think I ever used this thing he has in his hand to explain anything to students. So, and those kids really scare me. I don't want students to be like that. I want students to be engaged in the classroom, to be active, to be doing things. I don't want them to listen to me for 1 hour and be bored. That's exactly what you're doing now. You're listening to me, but anyhow. So that's the question I asked. And basically you gave me. So to me, it does not understand the prompt. And also where can I see that the teacher is explaining AI just because there's AI written on the board? So those are the limits. Sometimes it's hard for students and for teachers to understand that a tool is only what you make of it. So you have to, when you use a tool, to be critical of this tool. Does it give me a benefit? If it does, then cool, I keep it and I use it, but still I use it with a very critical eye. If there's no benefit, if it makes me waste my time, exactly what the image generator did for today, I wasted my time using it, then it's not a good tool for me. And another one it gave me. Alors là, je pense qu'on est basculé carrément. Il a passé l'âge de la retraite, le monsieur. So, and this time, and that's very interesting what your student said about diversity. Thank you for saying that, because I hadn't noticed, you see, I had noticed all the other elements. And in my way, I also see the world through my eyes. Diversity is very important to me, but on the other picture, I didn't pay attention to that because there were so many elements scaring me that I didn't see that. So thank you for noticing that. Well, I'm still not convinced. Huh? Sorry, I wouldn't use that. So that was a bit of a waste of time. So is DAL-E, which I used in Copilot, an efficient tool for me? Well, not yet. Maybe in the future it's going to be, but so far it's not. Chatbot, the text version of Chatbot was very useful, but the image generator of this chatbot is not useful. So maybe I have to find a different tool or a different way to use it. But do I have the time? Not really. So for this preparation, I said, well, I'm still going to use the image, but in a different way. And that's when I said about having a human eye to those tools. It gave me all these cats also. For example, this one is interesting. The one at the bottom, the screen is behind the cat each time. I don't understand how this cat is using its computer. On the first and second picture, okay, but on the third and the fourth, there's a problem with the cat. This cat doesn't know how to use a computer. Sorry to say. So same here. You see there, when you create an image, it's just, it can't be perfect, basically, so far. So to do a good job, I should maybe use more AI chatbots, have various approaches on my prompts. It gave me good ideas, directions to look into, inspiration. And my conclusion was that DALL-E was not efficient for me yet. Maybe I'm an old man and I don't know how to use it. That's annoying because I'm a teacher trainer, so I should know. Also, if you have to remember something is that fact checking is essential, especially when you use AI. And that's also something I tell teachers. To me, it's efficient on topics I already know a bit about because I have to make sure I'm not being lied upon or that it doesn't tell me things I don't understand. And I told you about ethics, so that's something that has to be kept in mind as well. Basically, what I said to teachers is that you have to think in terms of benefits and safeguards and limits. If it doesn't have any benefits to your professional use of it, then don't use it. Use something else or use a different tool. You don't have to use AI or not, maybe not this one. And also be aware of the safeguards. So that's my role as a professional, to teach this approach and maybe to help teachers understand what the safeguards are. So in that regard, I don't think I'm an expert on AI, but I'm someone who has critical eye, who tries to see the limits and the benefits of it. And that's it.
And it's exactly
so that's now what
we
you
needed. Exactly what we needed. You are a great user, and that's what we wanted. Thank you so much.